The colossal silver vessel floated in space above Earth, resembling a celestial metropolis. Ambassador Vale's long, delicate fingers pressed against the observation window, watching the serene blue planet rotate below. His deer-like ears twitched with a palpable nervousness. After 3 centuries of searching, the Stellar Collective had at last discovered another sentient species. They identify themselves as humans, stated Dr. Kaur, the collective's lead xenobiologist. His rabbit-like nose twitched as he spoke. Initial scans indicate they've constructed cities, advanced technology, and even ventured to their moon. Vale nodded approvingly. Excellent. The collective always welcomes peaceful civilizations. Have you prepared the standard overture? Yes, Ambassador. We will extend an invitation for them to join our grand alliance of enlightened worlds. The Stellar Collective had served as the galaxy's governing body for over 2 millennia. It comprised dozens of species who had long embraced collaboration over conflict. The Velathi, with their elegant movements and herbivorous diets, served as diplomats. The Korans, swift and astute, managed scientific and technological advancements. The Zixians, adorned with vibrant feathers and melodious voices, oversaw cultural and communicative affairs. All shared a common thread. They were species that had thrived through intellect rather than brute force. Dr. Kaur activated the communication array. Inhabitants of Earth, this is Dr. Kaur of the Stellar Collective. We arrive in peace. We seek an audience with your leaders to welcome you into the broader community of intelligent life. The response arrived with unexpected swiftness. This is President Martinez of Earth. We extend our welcome to your presence in our solar system. Please dispatch a small delegation to our orbital station. Within hours, Vale and his team were aboard the human space station. The humans who greeted them appeared peculiar. They walked upright, much like the collective's species, yet something felt distinct. Their eyes were forward-facing, not lateral. Their dentition included sharp, pointed canines, and their movements exuded a self-assuredness that unsettled Vale. Welcome to humanity, offered General Harrison, a tall figure in a verdant uniform. We are eager to learn about other intelligent life. The cultural exchange commenced immediately. Humans showcased their artistry, melodies, and technological prowess. The collective's envoys shared narratives of their tranquil worlds and successful collaborations. However, Dr. Kaur remained fixated on studying the humans themselves. During a respite, he drew Vale aside. Ambassador, I must conduct some analyses. Something about these humans causes me concern. What do you mean? Observe their physiology. Forward-facing eyes suggest they track moving quarry. Those teeth are designed for tearing flesh. And watch their movements. They don't scan for peril as we do. They seek prospects. Vale dismissed the apprehension. Many species consume meat, Doctor. That does not render them perilous, but Dr. Kaur insisted on performing his scans. He scrutinized human genetic code, analyzed their skeletal structures, and delved into their history through their own archives. What he uncovered made his fur stand on end. Humans were pursuit predators. Their forebears had chased game animals across vast expanses until the prey succumbed to exhaustion. Worse still, they had evolved from pack hunters who cooperated to fell larger, more formidable creatures. The doctor's hands trembled as he continued reading. Human history was replete with warfare. They constantly clashed with one another, and each conflict honed their fighting capabilities. They did not shun confrontation like civilized species. They appeared to court it. Ambassador, Dr. Kaur whispered urgently, we must depart immediately. What? Why? These humans are not like us. They are predators. Apex predators, Vale's eyes widened. That's impossible. Predator species never achieve advanced civilization. They annihilate themselves through infighting. Not these ones. They learn to cooperate. They transmute their hunting instincts into collaboration. But Ambassador, they still hunt. Look at this. Dr. Kaur displayed human entertainment. Films depicting the pursuit of dangerous beasts. Sports where humans contended against each other. Video games where the objective was to eliminate adversaries. Even their offspring engaged in games involving hunting and combat. They relish conflict, Dr. Kaur explained. They perceive it as amusement. The conclusive evidence emerged from human military records. Humans possessed weaponry capable of devastating their entire planet. They had constructed these armaments not out of necessity, but because they could. They prepared for wars that might never materialize. Ambassador Vale felt a wave of nausea. How many of them are there? 8 billion on their world, and they are expanding into space. That evening, Vale convened an urgent meeting with his ship's senior staff. Around the conference table sat representatives from a dozen species. All had evolved from prey animals. All had founded their civilizations on avoiding predators. Ladies and gentlemen, Vale began, we have a predicament. The humans are not what they appear. He shared Dr. Kor's findings. The room fell silent as the ramifications became chillingly clear. Captain Zixa, her bright blue feathers ruffled with alarm, spoke first. If they are pack hunters, they will not remain on their world. They will expand. They will hunt. What do they hunt? Inquired Commander Thex, his long ears flattened against his head. Everything, Dr. Kor replied. Their records indicate they hunt for sustenance, for sport, for trophies, and sometimes merely for the challenge. They have driven their own planet's apex predators to near extinction. The silence lingered. Finally, Vale made a decision that would forever alter the galaxy. We classify them as a Class 7 predatory threat. Maximum danger level. Gasps permeated the room. No species had ever received a Class 7 designation. What does that signify for first contact? Asked Captain Zixa. It signifies we terminate it. We establish a quarantine zone around their solar system. We do not permit them to spread to other worlds. But Ambassador, Dr. Kor protested, they have not attacked us. They have been amiable. That is precisely what renders them so perilous, Vale countered. They are intelligent enough to feign peacefulness while they observe us. They are discerning our vulnerabilities. Within hours, the human delegation noticed the shift. The aliens grew distant and apprehensive. When General Harrison inquired why, Vale struggled for appropriate words. We have learned much about your species, he finally offered. We believe it would be prudent to conclude cultural exchange for... Now, General Harrison's eyes narrowed, those forward-facing, predator eyes that seemed to pierce right, through Vale. I see, the human stated quietly. You are afraid of us. We are simply exercising caution, because you've deciphered what we are. Vale remained silent. But his quietness served as an ample response. General Harrison smiled, revealing those sharp canine teeth. You know, General, in all our stories about encountering extraterrestrials, we always worried about them being the dangerous ones. We never considered that we might be the monsters. You are not monsters, Vale quickly interjected. You are merely different. Different? Harrison repeated. Well, Ambassador, I trust this difference won't engender difficulties between our peoples. But as the alien vessel departed Earth's orbit, Vale knew it already had. The dispatch he sent to the Stellar Collective would reach every member world within days. The peaceful galaxy that had endured for millennia was on the cusp of irreversible change. And deep in his heart, Vale suspected that no quarantine zone would prove potent, enough to contain a species that had evolved to hunt the hunters. The emergency session of the Stellar Collective had been convened within 12 hours of Ambassador Vale's report reaching the capital world of Harmony Prime. Representatives from 47 species filled the grand chamber, their anxious murmurs creating a cacophony of apprehension. High Chancellor Marin, the eldest of the Velathi, called for quiet with a gentle chime. Her ancient voice resonated across the chamber. Fellow collective members, we confront an unprecedented situation. A predator species has achieved spaceflight and advanced technology. Dr. Kor's ears trembled as he activated the holographic display. Images of humans materialized in the air above the assembly. The delegates gasped at the sight of those forward-facing eyes and predatory teeth. Esteemed collective, these humans embody everything our ancestors dreaded. They are pack hunters who never relinquish their killing instincts. Their entire world is a hunting ground. The display showcased human cities erected on the remnants of ancient civilizations, armies marching across continents, wars that persisted for years with humans battling other humans simply because they could. Most disconcerting, Dr. Kor continued, is their relationship with conflict. Where we evolved to avoid danger, they evolved to seek it. They term it competition, sport, entertainment. They have transmuted killing into an art form. Delegate Quicks of the Korans raised a paw. But surely they can be reasoned with. They did appear willing to converse. That is precisely what renders them so perilous, Dr. Kor replied. They are intelligent predators. They scrutinize their prey before they strike. The chamber erupted in frightened chatter. Some delegates advocated for immediate military intervention. Others suggested offering the humans whatever they desired in exchange for their isolation. High Chancellor Marin restored order. The Science Council recommends immediate quarantine. We will establish a containment zone around their solar system. No human vessel will be permitted to depart. No collective vessel will enter. The vote was unanimous. Within days, the largest fleet in collective history encircled Earth's solar system. Thousands of ships from dozens of worlds formed a defensive barrier. The message to humanity was unequivocal: remain home. However, the galaxy was not solely populated by prey species. On the rim worlds, where space was dark and perilous, other eyes observed the collective's panic with interest. These were the worlds to which the galaxy's predator species had been relegated after millennia of collective expansion. In the steel caverns of Krill Prime, the Mantis Lords stirred. The Krillian Empire had once governed a quarter of the galaxy before the collective's ancestors had united against them. Now they dwelled in the shadows, embittered and ravenous. War Commander Skix spread his forearms wide as he addressed his fellow Mantis Lords. His compound eyes mirrored the frigid light of their subterranean chamber. The soft ones fear these humans, he clicked in the harsh Krillian tongue. Perhaps we should encounter these predators ourselves. Are they a menace or an opportunity? That remains to be seen, replied Battle Mother Vex, her razor-sharp claws scraping against stone. But any species that instills such fear in the collective warrants our attention. Meanwhile, in the pack worlds of the Vorth Consortium, a different dialogue was unfolding. The wolf-like Vorth had maintained an uneasy peace with the collective, bartering their military services for the right to exist. Pack leader Fenris studied the human images with keen yellow eyes. Unlike the Krillians, who were solitary hunters, the Vorth understood pack dynamics. What he observed in the humans appeared familiar. They hunt in groups, he remarked to his lieutenants. Like us, but their packs are larger. Should we fear them? Inquired Scout Alpha Raven. Perhaps, or perhaps we should converse with them. It has been a long time since we encountered others who comprehend the hunt. Back on Earth, President Martinez stood in the Situation Room, flanked by military advisors and scientists. The alien quarantine had been in place for 3 weeks, and humanity was beginning to grasp their predicament, so, if I understand correctly, the President began, they're afraid of us because we're predators. That is the assessment. Sir, replied Dr. Sarah Chen, the mission's chief xenologist, every species in their collective evolved from prey animals. To them, we are the monsters from their nightmares. General Harrison, who had met with the aliens, shook his head. We offered them friendship and they responded with a blockade. Can we breach it? Asked the President. Admiral Rodriguez brought up star charts. Their fleet is enormous, sir. Thousands of ships, but our intelligence suggests their technology is defensive in nature. They are not warriors. What about these other species Dr. Chen mentioned? The predators? Unknown, sir. The collective relegated them to the galaxy's edge centuries ago. We possess no direct intelligence on their capabilities. The President made a decision that would reverberate across the stars. We are not remaining confined to our solar system like prisoners. If they wish to treat us like dangerous predators, perhaps it's time to demonstrate what human predators can truly achieve. He turned to General Harrison. Initiate Project Apex. I want our finest pilots, our swiftest vessels, and our most advanced weaponry ready for deployment. What is the mission, sir? We're going hunting. The first indication that the quarantine would not endure arrived 3 days later. A patrol of collective ships detected an unidentified vessel approaching from the galactic rim. It was sleek, black, and exceedingly fast. Captain Thex of the Velothi Defense Force hailed the approaching ship. Unknown vessel, you are entering a restricted zone. Please identify yourself. The response came in a language the ship's computers had never encountered. Then, without warning, the unknown vessel accelerated beyond anything the collective had deemed possible. The ship buzzed the patrol formation, moving so swiftly that the collective vessels struggled to track it accurately. However, it did not attack. Instead, it appeared to be studying them, learning their formations and armaments. Captain Thex attempted to pursue, but his ship was designed for defense, not pursuit. The unknown vessel vanished into the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Report to command. Thex instructed his communications officer. Inform them we have a problem. Something else is interested in the humans. On the bridge of the mysterious ship, War Commander Skix analyzed the sensor readings of the collective vessels. His compound eyes gleamed with satisfaction. Weak ships, he clicked to his crew. Designed by prey for prey. What of the humans? We will test them, replied his second. If they are true predators, they will respond to a challenge. If they are merely animals with tools, we will crush them swiftly. Deep in the ship's weapon bays, Krillian warriors prepared their hunting gear. Each was a flawless killing machine, evolved over millions of years to be the ultimate solitary hunter. They had never encountered prey capable of effectively fighting back. They were about to discover what American military training could do to alter those odds. Meanwhile, pack leader Fenris was making his own preparations. The Vorth ship traversed hyperspace towards the Sol system, bearing a message of potential alliance. Unlike the Krillians, Fenris understood that the most perilous predators were those who hunted in coordinated packs. And from what he had observed of human military formations, these new predators might be the most formidable pack hunters the galaxy had ever witnessed. The galaxy was on the verge of discovering that 8 billion apex predators with nuclear weapons and a competitive streak were something none of them were prepared for. General Patricia Hayes stood in the Pentagon's most classified briefing room, observing as scientists and military strategists filled the chairs around the massive table. Project Apex had been active for only 2 weeks, but it had already become the paramount military program in human history. Ladies and gentlemen, she commenced, they believe we're dangerous. They're correct, but they don't fully comprehend just how dangerous. Dr. Chen activated the holographic display, showcasing the alien fleet surrounding their solar system. The Stellar Collective comprises 47 member species, all evolved from prey animals. They've never confronted a predator species that achieved technology. What about these other predators they mentioned? Inquired Colonel Martinez from the Air Force. 2 primary groups, Dr. Chen replied. The Krillians are individual hunters akin to giant mantises, very dangerous one-on-one. The Vorth are pack hunters similar to wolves. Both were relegated to the galaxy's edge by the Collective. General Hayes nodded. Our intelligence suggests both groups are now moving toward Earth. The Krillians appear aggressive. The Vorth might be seeking allies. Admiral Thompson leaned forward. What's our strategy, General? Simple, Hayes responded. We demonstrate to the galaxy what American military doctrine can accomplish. We're not remaining confined within our solar system. If they wish to perceive predators, we'll provide a demonstration they'll never forget. The initial component of the American doctrine was already in motion. 3 modified F-35 fighters hung in space near the asteroid belt, their pilots awaiting contact with the mysterious black ship that had buzzed the alien patrols. Captain Jake Reaper Williams checked his instruments one last time. The F-35 had been modified with experimental technology reverse-engineered from alien scanner data. It wasn't aesthetically pleasing, but it functioned. Reaper, this is Control, came the voice in his headset. Bogey approaching from your 6 o'clock, moving fast. Copy that, Control. Viper 2 and Viper 3, let's go say hello. The Krillian scout ship emerged from behind an asteroid, its black hull gleaming in the starlight. War Commander Skix studied the 3 small human craft approaching his position. Primitive, he clicked to his crew. Chemical rockets and metal shells. This will be swift. But as the human fighters closed in, Skix noticed something peculiar. They weren't fleeing or attempting to establish communication. They were maneuvering into an attack formation. Reaper to Control, came the voice over the radio. Bogey looks like a big bug. Permission to engage. Negative, Reaper. Observe and report. Captain Williams grinned inside his helmet. Copy that. We're just going to get a closer look. The F-35 split into a wide formation, approaching the alien ship from 3 directions. Skix watched with growing interest. These humans moved like hunters, not prey. When the lead fighter came within weapons range, Skix fired a warning shot. A beam of energy lanced out, missing the human craft by meters. Well, that was rude, Williams stated calmly. Viper 2, did you see that energy signature? Affirmative, Reaper. Looks like directed plasma. Nothing we can't handle. Skix fired again, this time aiming to incapacitate the lead craft. But the human pilot rolled away from the beam with casual ease, then accelerated directly toward the Krillian ship. What is it doing? Clicked Skix weapons officer. The human fighter buzzed the alien ship's hull, passing so close that its wingtip almost scraped the armor plating. Then it pulled up and away, executing a flawless barrel roll as it climbed. Did he just show off? Asked Viper 3. Oh, he's playing with us, Williams replied, his voice filled with delight. Control requesting permission to play back. Reaper, your orders are to observe. We are observing, sir. We're just doing it up close and personal. What transpired next would be discussed in military academies for decades. The 3 F-35s commenced what could only be described as an aerial ballet around the alien ship. They dove, climbed, rolled and spun in formations that should have been impossible in space. Skix attempted to target them, but they moved like nothing he had ever hunted. Every time he locked onto one, it would vanish behind another, or execute a maneuver that confounded his targeting computer's calculations. War Commander, his pilot said nervously. They are toying with us. Skix's compound eyes narrowed. No, they are showing us what they can do. These are not prey animals. These are apex predators. The demonstration lasted for 20 minutes. The humans never fired a shot, but they proved that the Krillian ship, despite its advanced technology, could neither catch nor effectively target them. Finally, Captain Williams opened a communication channel. Hey there, bug boy. Tell your friends that humans say hello. And next time you want to dance, bring better music. The F-35s formed up and flew away, leaving Skix staring after them in shock. War Commander, his second officer, asked, "What are your orders?" Skix was silent for a long moment. Then he clicked what might have been laughter. Send a message to the Hive Lords. Tell them we have found worthy prey. Begin preparations for the grand hunt. Back on Earth, the footage from the encounter was being analyzed by every military intelligence agency in the world, but it was the reaction of the pilots that captured everyone's attention. Did you hear Williams? Asked Dr. Chen as she replayed the audio. He was laughing during combat. He treated a potentially deadly first contact like entertainment. General Hayes smiled. That's what makes us different, Doctor. We don't just fight to survive. We fight because we enjoy the challenge. The second demonstration occurred 3 days later when the Vorth ship approached the outer edge of the solar system. Unlike the Krillians, they broadcast a message of peace. Humans of Earth, came the transmission in surprisingly good English. I am Pack Leader Fenris of the Vorth Consortium. We wish to speak with your alpha leaders. President Martinez decided to handle this meeting personally. The encounter took place aboard the International Space Station, with a full military escort. Pack Leader Fenris was imposing even by human standards. Standing 7 feet tall with silver fur and intelligent yellow eyes, he moved with the controlled grace of a natural predator. Your people have frightened the prey species, he stated without preamble. They perceive you as monsters. And what do you perceive us as? Asked President Martinez. Fenris smiled, revealing sharp white teeth. Fellow hunters, but perhaps more dangerous than even my people. How so? My species hunts in packs of 10 or 20. Your species hunts in packs of millions. You have transformed your entire planet into one massive hunting ground, and you compete with each other to become superior hunters. The president nodded. The aliens want to keep us confined to our solar system. Yes, they fear you will spread across the galaxy as we did long ago. What do you suggest? Fenris leaned forward. Prove that you are the apex predators. Show the galaxy that even the other predator species should fear you. Break their quarantine. Hunt something that has never been hunted before. The Krillians, perfect choice. They consider themselves the ultimate individual hunters. They have terrorized this galaxy for millennia. If you can hunt the hunters, the entire galaxy will recognize humanity's capabilities. President Martinez pondered this. And if we succeed, then the Vorth will be honored to call humans our pack brothers. Together we could govern this galaxy. We don't wish to govern anyone. We simply desire our freedom. Fenris laughed, a sound like distant thunder, spoken like a true apex predator. You are so confident in your abilities that you do not need to dominate others to prove your worth. As the meeting concluded, Fenris left the humans with one final piece of counsel. The Krillians are preparing for what they term the Grand Hunt. They intend to invade your solar system and demonstrate that humans are inferior prey. I suggest you prepare to teach them otherwise. 2 weeks later, General Hayes stood before a room filled with America's most skilled military personnel. Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, Marine Force Recon, and Air Force Pararescue Specialists packed the briefing room. Gentlemen and ladies, she began, you've been selected for humanity's inaugural interstellar hunting expedition. The target is a species that considers itself the galaxy's apex predator. Your mission is to prove them wrong. A hand rose from the SEAL section. What are the rules of engagement, ma'am? Hayes smiled. The Krillians are coming here to hunt humans. We're going to turn the tables, show them what it means to be hunted by Americans. The room erupted in grins and quiet cheers. These were warriors who had trained their entire lives for the ultimate challenge. "When do we commence?" asked a Marine colonel. "They'll arrive in 6 weeks. Plenty of time to prepare. Remember, people, this isn't just about defending Earth. This is about establishing humanity's place in the galaxy. Make it count." The Krillian warfleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system like a swarm of colossal metallic insects. 50 massive ships, each a living weapon designed for hunting and killing. War Commander Skix stood on the bridge of his flagship, scrutinizing the primitive blue world that had dared to challenge Krillian supremacy. "War Commander," reported his scanner officer, "the soft collective ships are retreating beyond the outer planets. They flee from our approach." Skix clicked his approval. "Good, we hunt alone as it should be. What of the human defenses?" "Minimal, War Commander. A few small craft moving between their worlds. Some orbital stations. Nothing that can imperil the great hunt." But Skix was more circumspect than his crew. The encounter with the human fighters had taught him that these predators were not to be underestimated. "Maintain formation. Dispatch hunter scouts to probe their defenses. We study our prey before we strike." On Earth, General Hayes observed the alien fleet's approach from the Pentagon's war room. Banks of screens displayed real-time data from satellites, space stations, and patrol ships. "Ma'am," reported Colonel Martinez, "the Krillian fleet has halted at the asteroid belt. They're sending out smaller ships." "Perfect," Hayes replied. "Phase 1 is working. Admiral Thompson, are your people ready?" Admiral Thompson nodded from the Naval Command Center. "USS Nevada is in position, ma'am. The crew is eager to test their new toys." The USS Nevada was humanity's first space-worthy nuclear submarine, hastily modified with alien technology salvaged from previous encounters. It drifted silently in the asteroid field, concealed among the space rocks like a predator poised to strike. Commander Sarah Blake watched her sonar screen as 3 Krillian scout ships approached her position. Each alien vessel was 3 times the size of her submarine, armed with energy weapons capable of slicing through steel like paper. "Contact bearing 040, whispered Sonar Chief Peterson. "Range 2,000 meters and closing." "I'll stop," Blake ordered quietly. "Silent running. Let them come to us." The Krillian scouts navigated the asteroid field like sharks through water, their sensors probing every shadow. They had hunted for thousands of years and had never encountered prey that could effectively hide from them. Scout Commander Z studied his instruments with growing frustration. "These asteroids interfere with our sensors. The humans could be anywhere." "Perhaps there are no humans here," suggested his pilot. "Perhaps they hide on their world like the other prey species." "No," Zay clicked. "I can sense them. They are here, watching, waiting." He was correct. Commander Blake had been tracking all 3 scouts for 10 minutes, learning their movement patterns and identifying their vulnerabilities. "Weapons," she whispered. "Solution on target 1. Solution ready, ma'am. Fire." The torpedo was unlike any weapon the galaxy had ever seen. It was a fusion of human engineering and alien technology. Guided by artificial intelligence and armed with a nuclear warhead, it moved through space silently, invisible to Krillian sensors until it was too late. The explosion transformed Scout Commander Z's ship into expanding gas and metal fragments. The other 2 scouts spun around, searching desperately for their attacker. "Where did that come from?" demanded Z's wing commander. The answer came in the form of 2 more torpedoes, each finding its target with deadly precision. Within 30 seconds, all 3 scout ships were destroyed, but Commander Blake was not finished. As the debris spread through space, her submarine emerged from its hiding place among the asteroids. The crew worked quickly to recover pieces of Krillian technology, while the evidence of the attack drifted away. "Control, this is Nevada," Blake reported. 3 targets neutralized, samples recovered, moving to secondary position on the Krillian flagship. Alarms wailed as the loss of the scouts was detected. War Commander Skix stared at his tactical display in disbelief. "Gone," he clicked. "All 3 scouts?" "Yes, War Commander. No distress signals, no sensor contacts. They simply vanished." Skix's compound eyes gleamed with something that might have been excitement. "Impossible. Nothing can hide from Krillian hunters." "Perhaps the humans possess better stealth technology than we estimated," suggested his second. "Or perhaps," Skix said slowly, "they are better hunters than we estimated." The war commander made a decision that would haunt him for the remainder of his very brief life. Send in the Hunter Alphas. If the humans wish to play hiding games, we will show them what true hunters can accomplish. The Hunter Alphas were the Krillian Empire's elite warriors. Each one was a living weapon, evolved over millions of years to be the perfect solitary predator. They had never been defeated in single combat. 6 Hunter Alpha ships detached from the main fleet and headed toward Earth. Each one carried a warrior that had terrorized entire star systems. But they were about to discover that Americans had been preparing for their arrival. Major Lisa Rodriguez crouched in the cargo bay of a modified space shuttle, checking her equipment one last time. Around her, 11 other members of Delta Force made their final preparations. "Remember the plan," she said to her team. "These aliens are supposed to be the ultimate individual hunters. Our job is to show them what American teamwork can accomplish." The shuttle drifted through space, appearing to be nothing more than debris from an old satellite. Its engines were cold, its electronics silent. To Krillian sensors, it looked like space junk. Hunter Alpha Vex studied the human orbital facilities through his ship's viewports. The prey species had constructed stations and platforms around their world, but none of them appeared to be defended. "Soft targets," he clicked to himself. "This will be easier than hunting Velati younglings." He selected a communications relay station and moved his ship into position for boarding. The Hunter Alpha's preferred method was to board enemy vessels and hunt the crew through their own corridors. As his ship docked with the human station, Vex activated his personal armor and weapons. He was 8 feet of chitinous nightmare, armed with energy claws and equipped with sensors that could track prey through solid walls. What he found inside the station confused him. There were no humans. The corridors were empty, the lights dim, but his sensors detected 12 life forms hiding in the station's depths. "Ah," he clicked with satisfaction. They huddled together in fear. "This will be entertaining." Vex commenced his hunt, moving through the corridors with the patience of a natural predator. He had all the time in the universe to track down his prey. He never suspected that the prey was hunting him. Major Rodriguez and her team had been waiting in the station for 3 days. They knew everything about the facility's layout, every vent and access tunnel, every blind spot and ambush point. "Target is in Corridor 7, whispered Sergeant Kim through the comm system. "Moving toward Section C." "Roger that," Rodriguez replied. "Teams 2 and 3 move to intercept positions. Team 1 with me." The Delta Force operators moved through the station like phantoms, utilizing passages that Vex didn't even know existed. They had studied Krillian anatomy from the scout ship wreckage and knew precisely how to inflict harm on these aliens. Vex rounded a corner and found himself facing an empty corridor. His sensors indicated that humans had been there moments before, but now there was nothing. Where did they go? He wondered aloud. The answer came from above. Major Rodriguez dropped through a ceiling panel directly onto the alien's back, while her team members emerged from side passages with weapons drawn. Vex spun around, his claws sparking with energy, but the humans were already moving. They fought as a unit, covering each other's movements and attacking from multiple angles. The Hunter Alpha had never encountered anything like it. Individual prey he could manage, but these humans moved like components of a single organism, anticipating each other's actions and collaborating with deadly efficiency. Impossible, he clicked as human weapons found the weak points in his armor. "How do they move so fast?" "Practice," Major Rodriguez replied as she placed a shaped charge against the alien's chest. "Lots and lots of practice." The explosion echoed through the station. When the smoke cleared, Hunter Alpha Vex was down. His armor cracked and his weapons scattered. "Control, this is Rodriguez," the major reported. "Package secured. One very surprised alien hunter ready for pickup." Similar scenes unfolded across the solar system as American Special Forces engaged the other Hunter Alphas. Navy SEALs boarded alien ships in the midst of space battles. Army Rangers set ambushes in asteroid mining facilities. Marine Force recon teams hunted the hunters through the corridors of space stations. Within 12 hours, all 6 Hunter Alpha warriors had been captured or killed. Not a single American casualty. On the Krillian flagship, War Commander Skik stared at his tactical display in growing horror. His elite hunters, warriors who had never been defeated, had been systematically eliminated by human prey. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "War Commander," his communications officer reported. We are receiving a transmission from the humans. Put it through. General Hayes appeared on the main screen, speaking from the Pentagon. War Commander Skix, this is General Patricia Hayes, United States Armed Forces. We have something that belongs to you. The screen split to display the captured Hunter Alpha warriors, all of them bound and under guard by grinning American soldiers. Your move, Bug Boy, Hayes said with a smile that showed entirely too many teeth. Want to try for double or nothing? War Commander Skix stared at the human general on his screen, his compound eyes reflecting the cold fury of a predator that had been humiliated. Around him, the bridge crew waited in tense silence for his response. You dare mock the Krillian Empire? He clicked in a fit of rage. We are the apex predators of this galaxy. General Hayes smiled that terrifying human smile. We're past tense. As of today, there's a new apex predator in town. Impossible. You are prey. You hide behind technology and tricks. No, Hayes replied calmly. We adapt. It's what we do best. Skix cut the transmission and turned to his officers. Prepare the fleet for full assault. We will show these humans what real predators can accomplish. But as the Krillian ships moved toward Earth, they found themselves facing something no prey species had ever possessed. A coordinated military response designed by 8 billion apex predators working together. The battle for Earth began at dawn. Pacific time. 50 Krillian warships descended on the planet like falling stars, their energy weapons turning night into day. They expected to find a helpless world cowering before their might. Instead, they found a trap. The first wave of Krillian fighters screamed down through Earth's atmosphere, targeting major cities. As they dove toward New York, a flight of F-22 Raptors rose to meet them. Captain Maria Santos pulled her fighter into a vertical climb, watching the alien craft on her instruments. Control, this is Falcon Leader, engaging bandits over Manhattan. Copy, Falcon Leader. Light them up. What followed was not a battle, it was a demonstration. The human pilots had studied every piece of Krillian technology recovered from the scout ships. They knew the aliens' weapons, their flight patterns, their tactical preferences. The Krillian fighters were fast and heavily armed, but they were designed for hunting individual prey, not fighting coordinated squadrons of trained pilots. Falcon 2. Break left, Santos called as she rolled her F-22 into an impossible turn. Falcon 3, you have a shot. The alien fighters plummeted from the sky like burning meteors. Their pilots, elite hunters who had terrorized a dozen star systems, found themselves outmaneuvered and outgunned by human prey they had dismissed as primitive. Similar scenes unfolded over every major city on Earth. London, Tokyo, Moscow, Los Angeles, wherever the Krillians attacked. They found American pilots waiting for them with weapons that shouldn't have been possible. But the real surprise came when the Krillian capital ships tried to establish orbital superiority. Admiral Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the USS Enterprise, humanity's first space-capable aircraft carrier. The massive ship hung in orbit above Earth, its flight decks launching squadron after squadron of modified fighters. Admiral, reported her tactical officer, Krillian dreadnought approaching from bearing 270. She's big, ma'am, 3 times our size. Size isn't everything, Commander. Launch the Hornets. The FA-18 Hornets that screamed away from the Enterprise looked like standard Navy fighters, but their missiles carried warheads reverse-engineered from Krillian technology, human weapons powered by alien science. War Commander Skix watched from his flagship as his dreadnought engaged the human carrier. This should have been simple. One Krillian ship could easily destroy a dozen human vessels. But the humans didn't fight like any prey species the Krillians had ever encountered. The carrier launched fighter after fighter, each one carrying weapons that could actually hurt Krillian armor. Worse, they fought as a coordinated unit, covering each other and attacking from multiple directions. War Commander, his weapons officer reported, the Devastator is taking heavy damage. The humans are targeting her weapon arrays with surgical precision. How do they know our weak points? Unknown, sir. It's as if they studied our ship designs. They had. American intelligence had been analyzing every piece of Krillian wreckage for weeks, identifying vulnerabilities and developing countermeasures. The Devastator, pride of the Krillian fleet, broke apart under concentrated human fire. As it exploded, Admiral Rodriguez opened a channel to the remaining alien ships. Attention, Krillian vessels. This is Admiral Sofia Rodriguez, United States Navy. You are in violation of Earth's territorial space. Surrender now or be destroyed. The response was predictable. The Krillians charged straight at the human fleet with everything they had. It was exactly what the Americans had been hoping for. All ships, Rodriguez broadcast, execute Order 66. Across the solar system, human ships that had been playing dead suddenly came to life. Hidden missile platforms emerged from asteroid fields. Submarines that had been drifting in the void powered up their weapons. The Krillian fleet found itself surrounded by an enemy that had transformed the entire solar system into a hunting ground. Impossible. Skix clicked as his tactical display lit up with hundreds of human contacts. Where did they all come from? The answer was simple. Americans had been preparing for this fight since the moment they learned about the Krillian Empire. Every military base on Earth had been converted to support space operations. Every submarine had been fitted with rockets. Every fighter pilot had been trained for zero-gravity combat. The United States military had done what it did best: adapt to a new threat and figure out how to destroy it. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it was over, the Krillian Empire's finest fleet was nothing but scrap metal drifting in Earth's orbit. War Commander Skix himself was pulled from the wreckage of his flagship by a team of Navy SEALs. "Well, look what we caught," said Chief Petty Officer Johnson as they dragged the alien commander aboard their assault craft, the biggest bug in the jar. 3 days later, Pack Leader Fenris arrived at Earth with a Vorth fleet of 30 ships. But instead of coming as potential enemies, they came to witness the aftermath of the greatest hunt in galactic history. Fenris stood on the bridge of his flagship, studying the debris field that had once been the Krillian war fleet. His yellow eyes gleamed with something approaching awe. "Magnificent," he growled to his officers. "The humans have achieved what no species has accomplished in 3,000 years. They have broken the Krillian Empire." "What are your orders, Pack Leader?" asked his second-in-command. "Signal the human fleet. Request permission to come aboard their command ship. I wish to speak with these apex predators personally." The meeting took place aboard the USS Enterprise. Pack Leader Fenris, standing 7 feet tall and radiating predatory power, faced General Hayes and Admiral Rodriguez in the ship's conference room. "You have impressed my people," Fenris said without preamble. "The Vorth Consortium wishes to propose an alliance." "What kind of alliance?" asked Hayes. "A partnership between apex predators. You have proven that humans are the dominant hunters in this galaxy. The Vorth would be honored to serve as your pack brothers." Admiral Rodriguez leaned forward. "What does that mean exactly?" "It means the Vorth worlds will recognize human authority. In exchange, we ask only that you allow us to join your hunts. Together we could rule this galaxy." General Hayes shook her head. "We don't want to rule the galaxy. We just want our freedom to explore it." Fenris laughed, showing sharp white teeth. "Even better. A species so confident in its abilities that it doesn't need to dominate others. You are truly the apex predators." Word of humanity's victory spread across the galaxy faster than light. On every collective world, prey species huddled in their homes and tried to understand what had happened. The Krillian Empire, which had terrorized the galaxy for millennia, had been destroyed in a single battle by a species that had only reached space a few centuries ago. High Chancellor Marin called an emergency session of the Stellar Collective. When the delegates assembled, they found a new seat at the table, one occupied by General Hayes herself. "Honored Collective," Marin said, her voice trembling with fear and uncertainty. "We must discuss the situation with the human species." "The situation is simple," Hayes replied. "The quarantine is over. Humanity is claiming its place in galactic society. But you are predators," protested Delegate Quicks of the Korans. "You will hunt us." Hayes looked around the table at the assembled prey species. "Actually, we won't. You're not challenging enough to be interesting." The blunt honesty of the statement was somehow more terrifying than any threat. "What do you want from us?" asked Chancellor Marin. "Trade agreements, cultural exchange, tourist visas. The same things any species wants. And if we refuse?" Hayes smiled that human smile. "Then you'll miss out on some very profitable opportunities. But that's your choice." 6 months later, the galaxy had settled into a new reality. The human flag flew over embassies on dozens of worlds. American hunting lodges advertised galactic safari packages for adventure tourists. The Pentagon had established the Interstellar Hunting Corps, elite units trained to track and capture the galaxy's most dangerous creatures. In the former Krillian territories, human colonists were building new settlements. The prey species of the collective had discovered that humans made excellent protectors, as long as you stayed on their good side. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the observation deck of Deep Space Station Armstrong, humanity's first permanent outpost beyond the solar system. Through the massive windows, she could see human ships coming and going carrying explorers, traders, and yes, hunters to every corner of the galaxy.